it's better than ever for Christmas this year.
It doesn't matter how old you are, no matter who you are, where you're from, what you're doing. When you see that commercial come on during the holidays, you know what's coming. How's everybody doing out there on the internet? This is your boy Big Frank at Eclectic Collecting, and this is going to be the unboxing of the 1993 Hess Patrol Car, and I cannot wait for this. I have been waiting ever since I got back from the convention to unbox this car because, to be perfectly honest, if you saw the last video, you saw how emotional I got to have this back in my collection. It's back! It's been about 15 years, I think. I know, I keep saying 15 years so often. I'm probably... however long it's been to have this back in my collection. It is so wonderful. It is magnificent to have it back. I am so happy and I cannot wait to unbox this, and thank you guys so much for joining me for this one. Now, I know what a lot of you are saying. Frank, come on, man. You've got a pristine collectible in the box. Why would you unbox it? Why? I'll tell you why. There are some things in this world of collecting you just don't keep in the box. It's simply because it is way too much of your childhood to ever let it go. So we're going to unbox this one right here, and I've got 2 C batteries ready to go. We're going to light this puppy up. I cannot wait. Now, for those of you who do like to keep things collectible in the box, I'm going to give you a little bit of advice right here to make sure that you know what to look for. I went over it briefly in my last video, but we're going to go over it a little bit more in depth so that you, the consumer, can examine all of your items while they're still in the box and make sure that they were never removed from the boxes. There is a subsection of our collecting community that will not touch anything unless it has never been removed in the box. It's called NBR, never been removed. And if you get something like that, that's going to be obviously the most collectible item that there is because it has retained all of its value. So, the first thing you want to do when you're examining the box is you want to make sure that everything is flat, clean, and gorgeous. Any part of the box that's been bit or torn or destroyed, let's be honest, when it comes to most toys like this that were from our childhood, we would tear these boxes apart to get at them. But some of us were actually pretty smart with it. So we actually opened them very carefully. So the first thing you need to do is examine the box. And on this particular box right here, you can see there is a crease in the lower end portion. That is most likely a packing piece, because as I mentioned before, the first thing I examine whenever I look at NBR potential items is I examine the tabs on the corners where the boxes are closed. That's going to be your first indication right there. But this one has a minor crease right there, and being that I examined these already and found there to be nothing really there, this was likely done when it was packed up at the factory. So if this was going to be an NBR never removed and I was never going to remove it from the box myself, I wouldn't worry too much about this. It would deter from the value if you actually sent this off to be graded. Yes, I can't believe that there are toy grading companies as well. It's amazing what kind of industries can be born from collecting. Absolutely amazing. But we're going to unbox this guy right in a few minutes. And I just want to point out again, double check your tabs because you want to make sure everything looks absolutely fine. You can tell that the lines on this particular box are absolutely clean. Everything's at 90 degrees. It looks like a beautiful box. It honestly looks like it just came off the shelf today. And for being from 1993, you know, that's pretty amazing. For let's see, it's 2017, so for 24 years old, for it to look like it just came off the shelf, that's pretty amazing. But we're not gonna keep this in the box any longer because I have been waiting ever since I got home to open this up. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the part that has the creased edge on it because I don't want to damage the flat side right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to open it up very carefully. Very, very carefully. There we go. Okay, I tore it a little bit right here, and as you can see, that's what you want to look for when you're collecting items. Basically, you just open the box just a little bit, just to take a peek in. Some of you Funko Pop collectors who have done those mystery boxes before, you know to lift the mystery box a little bit if they're not vacuum sealed or anything, so that you can get a little peer inside to see what might be in there. That's the peek technique. That's what you want to use. Now, unfortunately, I tore this when I was opening it up, but it's not a big deal for me because this thing is coming out of the box right now, and it is unlikely we'll ever go back. Hello, gorgeous. Just look at that. I opened it up and it's staring me right down. Hello, beautiful. I have missed you so much. Here we go, YouTube. And when it comes out of the box, of course, as Hess trucks and cars always have, they are going to be on this little tray that you're going to see right here. And that was just to keep them in place while they were shipping so that they wouldn't move at all. They also came with this top piece to keep everything from moving. And let's take a look at this little beauty. It is just as gorgeous as I remember. Oh my, absolutely gorgeous. Now, I got goosebumps right now. I am so happy to have this back in my... Oh, good. Everything is as I remember. Just as I remember. The stripes going down on the sides, the lights on top. Up top you'll see the speaker right there for the siren feature. It feels so smooth right now. It feels so smooth right now. Let's take this up. There we go. There we go. Look at this absolutely gorgeous piece. The chrome is so gorgeous. This is what I love about. This is what I'm shaking right now. I'm shaking. I'm having difficulty forming my sentences because I am just so. Oh, okay. Calm it down, Big Fry. Bring it down a notch. Okay. Oh, I always love the details on these things. From the indents right here to show where the hood lines would be, the door lines, the trunk lines. Everything was absolutely beautiful for this thing. Now, one thing Hess has always done is that they have never tried, like many toy car manufacturers, they have never tried to exactly mimic any production model car, because then you got copyright infringements and a whole bunch of legal battles that will ensue. And these would have ceased a long time ago had they not sort of made nondescript versions of them. But you can see from the design of this car, you can see elements of cars such as, I'd say the Crown Victorias, maybe the early 90s model Fords. This one's from 1993. You know, a little bit of Toyota, maybe a couple of Dodge pieces in there. And I'm just looking at, wow, I've never noticed this before. I've been collecting these things forever, and I never noticed that you can actually see through the windows, even though they're black. Let me get my flashlight out of my drawer. Take a look. You can actually see the front seats in there. I have never noticed that before. Now, obviously, back here you can't. It's a completely opaque, so you can't see anything. That's because that's where the speaker is. But this is a feature I've never noticed before. Took me 24 years to figure this out. I have never seen that before. You know what? That just goes to show how good Hess is with the design of their cars. Bravo, Hess. This is absolutely gorgeous. I never noticed that feature in there before. Really cool. And you know, it doesn't surprise me with their attention to details. I mean, just look at the chrome on the wheels. They got their little vintage spoke style on it. And it looks absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. But what a lot of people don't understand is that, especially now in the modern era, because these are much more mass-produced these days. You know, it's very easy to get a hold of them. These were produced in limited quantities for such a long time. I distinctly remember my mother would always tell me that she had to go the day after Thanksgiving to get these so that you would be guaranteed to get one. If you get one, it used to be when you try and get one close to the holidays, when everybody else was doing their holiday shopping, they were sold out. These used to be produced in such limited quantities that it was very easy for them to sell. That's why the earlier Hess trucks are just so hard to find. That's why they're selling for so much money on eBay. The 1980 Winnebago is one of the most expensive ones you could find, with the most expensive one being the original Hess truck. I believe it was an oil. I believe it was a on the road oil transport truck, or it was an oil tanker. I really need to look back into my history to double check that one. I know that that those first couple of Hess trucks, absolutely expensive. They are really hard to come by, and their price often puts them out of the reach for most Hess truck collectors. I started collecting Hess trucks. I think the first one I had was the green 1930 style truck. I think that came about in '85, and that was my birth year. So I think that was one of my first Christmas presents, which was really cool. And I had that up until the flood that destroyed most of my toys from my childhood. So I'm really upset that that one got destroyed too. But I think that's enough with the history of my personal history with these. I think it's time to take these batteries and light it up. It would be a lot easier if I didn't just drop the batteries. Give me a second, guys. Okay? Okay, guys, we're back in action. That's the one thing I hate about batteries. Always make sure you stand them up, because if you put them on the side, they're going to roll everywhere. Now, those of you who have a quick eye, yes, you notice these are Duracell batteries. Frank, what are you doing? These came with energizers. What are you doing? Well, last night, the convenience store I stopped at only had Duracells. They didn't have energizers. Believe me, I wanted to put energizers in here. It's part of the tradition. These came free with Energizer batteries. And the price on this one when it first came out was $11.99 with free Energizer batteries. So I paid $15 for this. So more or less with tax, I paid about $3 more for what this was brand new. And that doesn't bother me one bit. You know, I basically paid the small convention premium on this, which is not a big deal for me. You know, like I mentioned in my last video, I will happily pay a convenience fee for my childhood. Okay, got the batteries in. And let's see, I can't remember where the switches are, so let's take a look at this right now. Okay, this is just the basic on-off switch. Lights up the headlights, lights up the top light, lights up the side lights, lights up the brake lights. Just seeing this, again, it makes me feel so happy. You can hear Diesel barking in the background. He probably knows how happy I am. Okay, so we got the secondary switch right here, which is the white switch. The regular one was the red switch. That's what we just did. So let's go to the secondary switch, which of course first turns on the... Look at it. Look at it. Okay, the first switch always just turned on the regular lights. And of course, if you turn on the main lights, it would turn on the headlights, but keep the flashers and the headlight flashers on as well. I gotta take a look. Okay, so we'll turn the headlights off again. Now, this one also, being that it was one of the first emergency vehicles, no, the first emergency vehicle of the 90s series, this one also came with 2 sirens, so we're gonna show you them right now. And now, of course, we're going to turn on the second one. Oh, yes. I cannot begin to tell you how much of a wonderful nerdy feeling I'm feeling right now. It has been so long since I've had this in my collection. It just makes me feel so good. This is such a cool item. I love having it back there. Thank you so much to the vintage booth that had this. Thank you so much for Hess for creating this. Oh god, now I gotta find a proper place to put this. The box is going into my closet with everybody else's box. You know, I keep all the boxes. In the odd event I am forced to sell something, you want to retain the box as much as possible. So definitely make sure you do that. Oh, and this was so worth it. This was worth the extra couple days of just trying to get this done. You know, when you come home from conventions, you got to go back to work right away to replenish what you spent. But this makes me feel so good. It makes me feel so wonderful. Oh, to have this back in my collection. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. A couple more minor details I want to tell you about before we end this video. So much of this lights up. We have the side panels that light up, the license plate lights up, the grill lights up. As every Hess collector knows, Hess always uses rubber tires, you know, just like Lego does. I think Lego, Hess, and all the other people that are just like, you know, like the Sunoco holiday trucks, or let's see, what are the, like Duplos and Mega Blocks. I think those guys are the only toys, minus a few other higher end collectibles, like the high end Mattel and Hot Wheels collectibles. Hess and other ones like them are the only ones that still use rubber tires on their cars, and that's always a really cool one, because the fact that it's rubber, you can play with it almost anywhere and it's not going to scratch anything, which was really what my parents liked, because I could play with this on the kitchen table, the counter, the tile, everywhere. You know, I could just play with this and it would not scratch anywhere. So that was always just a proof of the quality that we go. And to this day, Hess still uses rubber tires on their vehicles. I think only maybe one or two of them. I think I remember the monster truck from a few years back just had plastic wheels. I'm not 100% sure on that one. I'd venture to say yes, though. But anyway, that's the unboxing of this gorgeous 1993 Hess Patrol car. Brief review about it. If you got a chance to pick up one of these, I recommend you do it, because you know what? These are just one of the best ones available. And unlike a lot of Hess vehicles that get reproduced, not reproduced, reissued, you know, we've seen several rescue trucks, several fire trucks. I think this is the only police car that was ever put out by Hess. And you know what? I would really like to see Hess release a new police car. And just remember, it is the middle of October right now, so we're only about maybe weeks away from seeing the first Hess truck commercial on TV for the holidays. So you know what? I can't wait to see what it is, because I was on the website this morning and it said the new Hess truck will weigh in, and weigh was spelled W-E-I-G-H. So I think it's going to be a truck or car modeled after a heavy-duty vehicle. So we may get another hauler, we may get another monster truck, maybe a construction truck, I don't know. But Hess, this one was absolutely my favorite Hess vehicle of all time, and I would love to see you put out another police car. So get that over to Hess, everybody. Another police car. Hess Police Car 2019. Hashtag it. Well, anyway, everybody, that'll do it for this episode of Eclectic Collecting. This is your boy, Big Frank. And just remember, like and subscribe me on YouTube and social media. I'll put the link to the Hess website in the description below so we can all stay updated with that. And just remember, everybody, if you're not collecting eclectic, you're not collecting at all.